Hello friends, how is your day? Have you ever read a novel? Do you know, all text on the script is the example of narrative text. So, in this video we will learn about narrative text. What is narrative text? Narrative text is an imaginative story to entertain people. Next is the genre of narrative text. First is fable, for example, The Ant and the Grasshopper, and the second is myth, for example, is Nyi Roro Kidul, and the third is legend, for example, Toba Lake, and the fourth is folk tale, for example, Malin Kundang. The fifth is fairy tale, for example, The Ghost and the Golden Eggs. The sixth is a love story, for example, Romeo and Juliet, and the other genre is science fiction, horror, history, slice of life, personal experience, and etc. So, there are some purposes of narrative text, namely to amuse the reader, to entertain the reader with a story, to teach moral value, and to change social opinion. There are some generic structure of narrative text. First is orientation. Orientation is about the opening paragraph where the character of the story are introduced. The second is complication, where the problem in the story developed, and the third is resolution, where the problem in the story is solved, and the last is reorientation. Reorientation is optional, can be added or not. Reorientation contains the conclusion of the end of story. Narrative texts have some language feature, namely, first, using part action verb, for example, climb, turned, broke, and etc. The second is using specific noun as pronoun of person or animal in the story, for example, the king, the queen, and etc. Next is using adjectives which are for noun phrase. For example, long black hair, 2 red apple, and etc. Next is using time connective and conjunction to arrange the events. For example, then, before, and after. The other language feature is using adverb and adverbial phrase to show the location of events. For example, here, in the mountain, and ever after. Next is using dialogue to elicit an emotional response from the reader. Next is using past tense, and the last is using a variety of simple, compound, and complex sentences. This is the example of narrative text. Please read and find the generic structure of this story. Okay, that's all my explanation about narrative text. Stay healthy and see you on the next video.